What's up, everyone? I don't know why I always I'm in a comfortable position and then I hit the play button and then I do this shrimp hunch. Like, why am I being a shrimp? I don't need to be a shrimp. I can just talk to you like a person. Um, hello. Hello. Good morning. It is, well, maybe good time of day to you. It is 9 a.m. on a Tuesday here in Portland, Oregon. And I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm getting over a cold. It was a long weekend. I had something going on with my sinus, which kept me from sleeping. And because it was in my sinus, I was snoring like crazy, which also kept my partner up. And then she would wake me up when I started snoring, and then I would wake. It was bad. It was not great. So, anyways, little low on sleep. Feeling like maybe today's one of those days where I'm gonna get as far as I can go on this, and then I'm gonna go be a potato. I think I'm okay with that. Sometimes it's okay to be a potato. Ramp. Okay. What's up, V-Dog? How you doing? What's up, Ben? Hello. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so here's what I want to do today. I have been, I guess maybe we start with a little bit of context because I think context is important. So I started Learn with Jason, the pair programming show in 2018. And the site since then has gone through two iterations. The first one was fairly straightforward, like just a listing of the episodes. The second one went a little bit further and added a blog and improved the schedule and did a few other things. But the site itself hasn't really evolved at all in terms of content. It's still, for all intents and purposes, a listing of the Learn with Jason series specifically and the blog. And so that's both good and bad. Like, the site does what it's supposed to do. But I've also launched a business since at the end of 2022. Wow. Yeah. It's been a year and a half. Okay. Yeah. So I launched this business, went full time on Learn with Jason, and Learn with Jason has become more than the series. So this, in retrospect, was maybe a confusing thing to do, but I've got Learn with Jason the series, and then I've got Learn with Jason the company, and inside Learn with Jason the company, I have other series. So there's the company up here, and then there's Learn with Jason the series. There's 4 Web Devs, 1 app. There's Web Lunch. There's some one-offs, like I did the Do It Anyway series that I think is going to kind of live as what would you call that? A limited series. And I've got some others that I'm kicking around that would be kind of fun little mini series stuff to do. Got some really fun stuff coming up with events where I think that might become a little bit of a kind of like an event mini doc thing that I'm working on. Lots of stuff coming up. But the site has nowhere for these things to live. Like, there's nowhere to find 4 Web Devs, 1 app on the internet except for YouTube. And that's we'll go with suboptimal. So the challenge that I'm having is that I have lots of content and I've got nowhere to put it. And so I've been thinking about how to rebuild the Learn with Jason site for far too long. I have designs going back probably 4 years on like what I want to try with the Learn with Jason site. And I've just never really settled on something. I've never really decided that I'm, how I want to do it. And a while back, some of y'all might have been here, I did a stream that is titled Build a Netflix Style Web App. And that's where I've landed, is basically what I'm doing these days is I am a publishing house. If we have to come up with a name for what Learn with Jason is, it's a media publishing house. And or a production company, or however you want to call it, right? So I looked at the website for other companies that do media production, and all of them use a very similar approach where they have their series and then the episodes of the series are listed there. And then there are some additional pages that you can go to for related information. So I want to, that's basically where I've landed. And so I started work on that. There's let me find the actual stream where we did that, and I'll drop a link to it. I can just say here, yeah, here it is. So this is the initial build that we did. And that one is where we built the layout for it, and we got the AstroDB setup going and all of that. And then the other part of it was I wanted to get the view transitions going. And so this is a separate project that we built, but it's kind of a proof of concept for the view transitions and video and stuff. And I'll show all this as I get over to the screen. But as context, that's sort of the progress that I've made. I proved that I can do what I want with the Astro view transitions, moving between, like, you can start a video, and when you navigate to a new page, the video goes to the bottom of the screen so that you can keep watching it. You can, I can create different series. The series can have or how did I? It was like collections. So there's the series itself, and then inside the series, there's a collection. So that could be a season, it could be a year, it could be any designator of like how to group episodes within the series. Because, like Learn with Jason, I group by year because at this point, there's so many episodes that you can't put them all on one page. So grouping by year would mean that, like, in 2024, there's going to be something around 45 or 50 episodes. And in like 2019, that was probably closer to 100 episodes because I was doing two a week at that point. And so that's probably, like 100 is probably the high end of what I would want to put in a given season, but it's fine, right? And for anything going forward, I'll probably group into more like, I don't know, like 40 for Learn with Jason seems fine. Maybe I'll do like 2 seasons, like part like 2024 part 1, and then take a summer break and then do 24 part 2. Who knows? We'll come up with a way to do it. But for things like for web devs, I am doing these in seasons because I'm actually trying to like progress that show. And so every time I'm able to take a step forward in production, I'm going to make that a season break. So all that is context for what I'm trying to build today. So let me switch over into, let me say hello to some folks first. What's up, Sinania? This is not an egghead shirt. This is a capybara sweater. And it makes me very happy. But I think I got, like, I was cooking in this, which I shouldn't have done, and it's got a grease stain on it. So I can only wear it as an undershirt now. And then what's up, Coding Phase? What's up, Bridgewater? How y'all doing? What's up, Oscar? Okay, so let's get into this view. Well, that's not what y'all wanted to see. Okay, so let's start with the drawing, right? So let's go back to files. We'll go to Learn with Jason 24 and here. So basically, I started looking at like how everybody else does this. Let me hide the UI so that we can. Oh wait, here we go. All right, so this is how like Crunchyroll displays a series. And so if you haven't watched this, if you're into anime, you should really watch this. But what they do is they give you the big hero image. They give you kind of like watch the first episode, some details, and then there was some weirdness with the screenshot, like this is their cookie banner, and then free trial stuff, and then they show you each of the episodes, right? Netflix, same thing. Big hero banner, they give you details, and then it starts to show you, like, theirs was interesting. They put extras up top, and then they show seasons. Then you've got, I think this is Paramount, same deal. Big hero details. I think this would be a play episode 1 if you were logged in, and then the episodes themselves, and then a bunch of different stuff down there, recommendations and so on. Hulu, almost exactly the same. Apple TV, basically the same. They did something with like preloading where they broke screenshots are broken in Apple Plus when you do, because of like how they do some kind of like a detection for lazy loading or whatever. Adult Swim, a little worse looking, but like general same approach. NBC, mostly same approach. They buried their episodes under a tab for some reason. I do kind of like this tab thing so you can put more stuff in here, but as I started thinking about mine, there was less. It didn't make as much sense for me because I don't have a lot of this stuff. Like I don't have photos. I don't have a shop. I'm not doing casting, that kind of stuff. Peacock, same deal, right? So this one has a whole bunch of like, hey, bias. But then it gets down to like episodes down here. And then this is Max. So you can see like this is clearly a UX pattern that is established. If you're watching shows, this is what you expect to see on the websites for those, right? So my goal with Learn with Jason is to grow it into basically developer TV. And so I wanted to do the same thing. So this is the design that I started putting together. So you're going to be able to log in. My eventual goal, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get here, but here's my plan. My plan is for Learn with Jason to become a hub for developer TV, and maybe not even only mine, because the hope is that it's TV made for devs that's both entertaining and educational. That's the plan. And so you'll be able to log in, and then when we've got something to share, like a new For Web Devs One app, my plan is to have a supporter tier that will go through this site directly, like probably a Stripe membership or something. And that will give you access to watch new episodes a week early on Learn with Jason. It's also going to give you access to do things like you'll get special access to places in Discord. You'll get additional privileges in like live streams. I'm going to start bringing back some of the things that you can do on live streams to like, like play effects and stuff like that. But I think I'm probably going to limit those to mostly supporters. Like there'll be a few things that everybody can do. But the problem I was having before is that it was so chaotic that it was distracting when guests were on. And so I want to be able to control that. But I think having supporters on and, there's just some fun stuff that we can do that way to try to make this like fun and not take away the playfulness of the chat interaction without derailing a guest who's not used to the chaos of this show, right? So all of that will be managed through a profile. Maybe we'll have soundboards. Maybe we'll have clips. Maybe this will be how you submit your if you're like participating in the giveaway, which let me do a quick shout out to the giveaway. If you're not already on here, make sure you go and read this post because I'm giving away this desk accessory kit, which is really cool. It's made in the US by Jeff Sheldon, goes by Ugmonk. I'm working with him. Super cool dude. Very cool stuff. It's just like a really nice way to organize your desk and have a beautiful space to work in. And all you have to do to win it is build an app. So the next episode of 4Devs One App, we filmed it last Monday. It's coming out in a few weeks. Let's see. Yeah, so you need to turn in your episode by your build by May 20th to be eligible to win. But this is going to be a lot of fun. I really hope that you do this, right? It's a good way. Like anything you build too goes into your portfolio. It's more stuff you're learning. This one is using AI in an app that's not just a chat bot. The joke here is that every AI app I've seen feels like it's just a chat interface, and the Astra team felt the same way. So let's use AI in different ways. And so you can do things like using it to make suggestions. You can use it to basically anything where it's not like, here's a text box, type into it, and then watch the response stream in from somewhere else. The devs that were on the show, we had Jack Harrington, Lizzie Siegel, Chance Strickland, and myself. all came up with really interesting stuff that I think is uh, it's fun. Like you should check it out. You should watch the episode when it comes out, but you should play along. You should try this out because it's a good way to learn. It's a good way to get a grip on how all this stuff works, to understand what a vector database is, so on and so forth. There's a channel in the Learn with Jason Discord. I'll drop a link to that. Um, there's a channel called Builder Chat, which is where people are sharing their ideas. There's code samples. There's folks from the DataStax team are in there to support you. I really want you to build this. I think it's going to be really fun. There's really cool people in there building already, and I want you to be one of them. Does it need to be LLM based? No. You don't even need to use like AI at all, like in the terms of an LLM or like some kind of like underlying machine learning model. The actual restriction is using vector search. And so like Jack Harrington had a really creative interpretation of what we meant, and he was able to do something that didn't use an LLM. It actually, he fed numbers directly into a vector store and was able to make something really cool out of that. So you don't need you don't need to do something like OpenAI or ChatGPT or Anthropic or something like that. You can literally just use any set of numbers and the vector store to come up with something really cool. And so yeah, the rules are loose. Like there's a constraint for a reason, but it's also kind of vague for a reason, because I don't want to remove people's ability to get creative and sort of. I think some of the best apps I've seen in the 4 Web Devs 1 App series are the ones where the devs sort of creatively interpreted, like almost intentionally misunderstood the prompt to build something either funny or really creative. Uh, so yeah, feel free to get down. Yeah, the biggest thing is like it needs to use that vector search is the biggest thing, right? And in the broad umbrella of what AI is these days, it's just a slang term for like everything under the machine learning, the LLMs, the vector stores, the whatever. Like everybody's just kind of bucketing all of those concepts under AI, which is why we said AI app and not like, do exactly this. Okay, so that is that, and let's take a look at kind of where we've gotten so far. All right, so where I'm at right now is we've been working on this Netflix style app. This is the one that we built in that previous episode, which was, let me grab it out of here. This one, I think. Yeah, so this was the one that we built. We got to, how far did we get here? So we got like data on screen. We got the episodes listed. So we were able to make like decent progress there. And then the other one was, oops, this one here. And this is the one where we built the video transition. And so by the end, I think we got this running. Did we get this all the way running? Thought we did. And it should be like, this is playing. Yeah. So that video is playing. And then when you like click into different views, it doesn't change the navigation. Oh, and I actually published this one, Astro View Transitions Nullify. Okay, so here's the site we build. Great. And let me close that up. And then, all right, so we can get in here. We can hit play. There's the video playing. I can go back to the home, go into this other one, right? And then it's still playing. But if I start playing this one, it switches over. I go in here, click there, it takes me back, right? So this is kind of what I'm after, is this. lower navigation. And yeah, there was like a Z-index issue where things were popping over the top. I was able to fix that. Turns out that was just me misunderstanding how the view transition stuff worked in general. Um, I like tweeted it, "Why doesn't this work?" And everybody was like, "It does work. Here's how." um, so that's the code there, and then I think I have the actual code for that one. Astro Video View Transitions. Yeah. So that's the code for that one. Now that's not what I'm working on today, but that is the actual code for it, right? So if you want to get in here, you want to poke around at how that works. And then the other piece of it is did I here. So this is the work in progress. Now, this is what we did a couple months back. I have not shared my new work yet, which I guess I could. But so here's what I've been able to get to in the meantime. So still no work on the homepage. It's just kind of listing my series and stuff like that. But then when you go to one of the series, like I can get to do it anyways here. This is the one I have the most dummy data on, so it's the one I've been using. And inside we can see all of these different videos. Okay. And each of them is stored in AstroDB. You've got this season drop down. I haven't worked out how that's actually going to function yet. So that's another thing I have to do. Start watching is going to be a link to the season 1, episode 1. And then if you're logged in, I'm going to have to figure out how to track that and make sure that you watch the next unwatched episode as opposed to whatever. Now I have to figure out what watched means. I think like I dealt with this on the Jamstack Explorer site. We had to figure out what a watch meant because like did hitting play mean you watched it? No. Did watching more than 30 seconds mean you watched it? Maybe. Like it should count as a view, but did that count for you as the viewer as having watched it? Did you have to watch to the very last second? That didn't really make sense. So we had to come up with some heuristics on like what counted as like having viewed the whole video. So this is where that is. And then if we click into one of these, now it starts playing the whole video, right? And I'm happy about that. And then does that fade away if I like stop touching? Yes. Okay. So you can watch the whole video. That's good. And then you can also scroll down to see more details. So that's how far I am on this right now. You can see it's kind of unstyled and we're not quite there. I still need something like maybe a actually that's a good question. How do you handle this? How does Netflix handle this? Am I going to get a takedown if I do this? I I just want to see what it looks like when you click into an episode. So you go in, okay. So you get this back button. So I'm going to need to put a back button on there. And then with them, you don't get anything. Like you can't scroll or anything. You just get to the next piece. I'm going to close that so that it doesn't show any images from that show and get me a takedown. Okay, so then I need like a little bit of customization here because I need to have a back button, or whatever. And then I like this idea of being able to scroll down. I think that it makes I don't know. Like sometimes I want more details. I want to know who the actors are. I want to know whatever. And then on these, I work with different crews for different videos, and I want to make sure that each video has credits for like who was the DP, who was who did sound, who edited, and I want to make sure that all gets kind of collected, right? So all that being said, let's see if we can get this thing like fully running. So I'm pretty happy with the way that these pages look. Like, we've got the series here, and then if I go to a different, if I go to a different, what is, no, definitely not that. Jesus. You here. So then you get to a different one and it's got different details and all that stuff. I can put in a different image. I don't think I had one. YouTube does a scroll down in full screen? Oh, it does. I had no idea. Okay, well, that's a good model to steal then, because that is really helpful. Yeah, so we'll be able to do that. That'll be cool. And then what? Yeah. Okay. So the way that this is built is I have, it's an Astro site. We've got the series itself. The series pages pick up a whole bunch of stuff out of the database. Maybe let's look at the database first. So the database is broken up into collection, series, episodes, and then we have users, user episodes, sponsors, sponsor series, sponsor episodes, and then all of those get kind of put out. So the series and the collection, so the series has like title, description, slug, and a banner image. And that's what's showing up at the top of the page. Then we have the collection. And I'm realizing now that the collection needs to have a banner image because the series, maybe I don't want to overthink that. Maybe the series should have the banner image and I can just update it every season or something. That's probably fine. That's probably better than me trying to like, yeah. So then the collection is like this would be the show. This is the season. But then because there are things that aren't shows and things that aren't seasons, we went with anyways. So then we have in the collection, it's which series it belongs to, and that's a reference to the ID. We've got the year that it was published. We've got its name, its slug, and then we'll figure out if we need any other stuff. But for now, we're kind of leaving it. Then we have in the episode, we have the which collection it belongs to. But note we don't mark the series, and that's mainly because like this connects to this, so we don't need to like track data in multiple places. We've got when it went live, the title, description, resources is like that's the links that I throw. Everything I throw in the chat here gets automatically posted to the Learn with Jason Discord in a links channel or a show links or something like that. And all of those links end up attached to the episodes as like things that were shared so that you can go find any resources from a show in the description of a show. A unique slug, a thumbnail, I think that's a URL, and then the ID for the video on YouTube, a media URL, which I'm actually not going to use. I'm going to let that one go. And then the playback ID, which is from Mux. And we'll talk about that when we get to that part. Then we've got the users. So this is what I want everybody to be able to control for themselves for several reasons. Like, one, if you're going to sign up as a supporter and get the supporter access or whatever, I want you to be able to just to set your avatar URL and stuff like that. Then I also want like guests of the show instead of what we've been doing, which is like I have them fill out a form, and then that form gets emailed to Aiden on my team, who then goes and does like manual data entry, and that turns in there's like a lot of steps to make it work. And so the ideal would be I can give them a login, like, hey, go here, log in and create, just like fill this out, and then we connect that to the episode and it just works. We don't have to do magic here. So then we've got our users. Then we have the user episode table. So this is just a reference table. We're saying that this user ID is in this episode. And this is because it's a many-to-many relationship. Like there can be multiple people in a show. Like, for example, every episode of Learn with Jason has me and a guest. And in like a 4 web devs 1 app, there are 4 developers, me plus 3. So we would need 4 entries for 4 web devs 1 app, all connected to the same episode. And then the episodes, one user can show up on the show multiple times, or in the case of you say like Jack Harrington. Jack has been in an episode of 4 web devs 1 app as well as an episode of Learn with Jason. So we need to be able to connect that multiple ways. So sponsors, this is how I keep track of who is like covering the cost of transcription, who's sponsoring a given series or episode. So we need to be able to track those pieces. And then we've got the sponsor for a series. So in the case of Learn with Jason, people sponsor the series, and I probably need to change that to be collection. Crap. Okay, so that needs some thought. Somebody is pounding on my door. I'll be right back. I'm literally just talking about you.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So look,
Was it a good thing?
it was a good thing.
Okay.
Look what just happened.
What are we doing here?
We
Hey everybody.
I spoke Jack into existence.
Oh yeah. I'm going down to ReactConf and I needed coffee.
Oh,
like,
nice.
I'm gonna go by Kova and go get, like the dehydrated stuff. Dehydrated. And
All right.
Let's drop by Jason. He says drop by. I'm dropping by.
No, I love it. I'm glad you're here. So this is fun. This is the first time that I think I'm actually having a surprise drop-in guest on the show.
Hi. Hi everybody.
So yeah. So I was just talking about you because I was talking about the 4 web devs episode that we just did.
Was awesome.
It was super fun.
It was really great, actually. I'm really looking forward to the video.
Yeah, the edit just started. The team picked it up today, and they're starting to go through and get selects and everything.
Oh, cool.
Nice. But yeah, so I was talking to the chat about the giveaway that I'm doing. So
what is that?
So I didn't tell you about this. So so for anybody who wants to participate, I'm given the same challenge that we got.
Oh, cool.
So build an AI app that's not a chatbot using AstroDB.
Okay.
And the giveaway is this company Ugmonk. It's run by Jeff Sheldon. They make
I think it's really good. It was like, oh my god, he's giving away a whole desk set.
Yeah, it's like a whole desk set,
crap.
right?
Yeah,
and so this isn't. This is a this is like a fully desk, and then I'm waiting for the
you got all the kit, man.
I know this is. But
you're not on 2 cameras though at the moment.
No, I'm doing the single camera thing.
It's all about the production value. But okay, yeah. So you're giving away a full desk set.
So anybody who wants to build their version, if they get it to me before May 20th, they get entered. It's going to be kind of a raffle. So anybody who enters gets a chance to win.
Nice.
And so we were talking about how you had managed to build an app that didn't use LLMs but still use the vector search.
Yeah, well, it used vector search first, and then it was a RAG. So
right, because you did get into.
I did eventually, right?
Right.
Yeah, the D&D thing where it would you'd set up your characters, and then or import them from D&D Beyond, which is really cool because they have an undocumented API. So tap into that, and then so you had your kind of skill level of the team, and then we'd go and cross-reference, and this was using the vector search.
Yeah,
we'd get the monsters that were kind of appropriately scaled for your team, and then we take that, and that's the retrieval augmented part. So then we go take that and tell the LLM, hey, with these monsters, go build a random encounter.
Very cool. Yeah, and so basically, this was the part that kind of blew
my
mind.
Turned out really good.
It came out great.
It was a cool thing.
I mean, honestly, I ended that episode so mad at you.
Why?
Your app looked so good, and I'm over here with my barely finished rickety. It was fine. It was great.
You did all your prep work on the episode itself, on the all the filming and all that sort of stuff, and it was that was impressive. Yeah. I did all my prep on actually.
But so
Lizzie did the same thing. Lizzie came in prep.
Oh my god, Lizzie was so on top of it. Her app, I won't spoil it for you, but it was really good.
Yeah.
It was a super fun app. So you're headed down to ReactConf.
Yeah.
Nice. When is that happening?
Next week, next Tuesday, Wednesday, I think.
All right.
And you're gonna want to be there. You're gonna tune in for sure.
Okay.
It is a big deal.
All right, what are we looking forward to here?
I can't say, but it's a
you
deal.
got like insider info.
Yeah, a little bit of
Okay.
insider info, and I can tell you, like,
Okay.
it's a game changer. So it's really cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, dang, I was not planning on paying attention, so I guess I
Oh,
have to
you
now.
should. And then I think I'm at I/O before that, over in Google. So it's
You're at I/O?
Yeah,
I'll be at I/O too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, great, good. Yeah, it's like I fly into Bay Area, hang out with some friends over the weekend, shoot some photos of some dogs and all that sort of stuff, and then zip over to I/O, and then literally that night go to Vegas and Vegas.
I know Vegas is never my favorite place to go.
I love Vegas if you're from Vegas, but I hate Vegas just in general.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't hate you if you're in Vegas. I just hate where you live.
You know.
Now it's one of those cities that, like, I feel like if you get outside of what people who visit Vegas see, Vegas can be really cool.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like mountaineering, hiking, coolness, like of nature,
and even like the local city. Like if you get to the local part where people who live there live, it's interesting. But I've never had a lot of fun. It's not my scene. Like I don't gamble. I've never really. It's never really had any appeal for me. Yeah. And I don't like really enjoy the crowdedness of anything. So being in a giant indoor cave where you're supposed to gamble and it's loud and crowded is like kind of my own personal version of hell.
Yeah. I went there and I was doing some consulting and I had to stay at one of the hotels. So I stayed at the Bellagio. And the only way that you can get from the door of the Bellagio to your room is to go through the casino.
Yes.
Right. And I didn't want to gamble. I was like, whatever. So, I would get back to the hotel and I would just like hunker down and I would just like go through the mass of people, just like, go, and then
like coat over the head, like,
right. Just like try and like blocker my way through. And the funny thing was at one point, like a guy, like, so I do this and then like some dude, like as I get out of the casino, he like pops out from behind me and he's like, thanks for the blocking, dude. Like, okay.
It's public service, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm the guy. Like,
no, I keep trying with Vegas because there's always a conference there, and like I'll go to Vegas if there's a conference, and I know why people put conferences in Vegas.
Why?
It's because it is dirt cheap.
Okay.
Because the casinos,
right? They assume, right?
Yeah, they assume that if you bring people to Vegas for a conference, that they're going to spend all their off time in the casino, which is generally true. And so they'll give you like the conference rooms, and the rooms themselves are just like borderline free from a company perspective.
Oh yeah,
because I know when I was at Netlify, they did one of the sales kickoffs. They did it at the Four Seasons in Vegas, and I was thinking to myself, why on earth would a startup book the Four Seasons? That's like the most financially irresponsible thing I could think of.
Yeah.
Come to find out, those rooms are like $50 a night. Because they just assumed that like the conference room, I think they were like, we'll just throw it in because we know you're going to gamble.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like if when you say, okay, I'm going to have a conference, but it's going to be a mathematician or engineer conference, they're like, no,
there are a
thank
few.
You.
They
they're like, yeah, you guys know what the hell's going on in our casino, so we're not going to go give you anything.
They asked, it was some group, it was like a mathematicians group or something. They asked them not to return because none of them gambled.
Right. I mean, you literally know the house is literally rigged against you, and it's in the regulations. Like,
geez.
Yeah. So what are you doing? Are you working on your own Netflix version of your?
Yes. Yeah. Cool. So I've been trying to get this thing running for a while now, and I've got it to the point where it's like loosely functional. But right before you showed up, I realized that I actually have my data model wrong, where right now I have sponsors covering the full series, but they actually cover seasons. So I gotta,
Are you gonna be able to like search by sponsor?
Well, I need to be able to list the sponsor for the series because the way that it's set up. Let me see if I can get this. Let's do it.
I just wonder, like from a user perspective, like they don't really care.
No, the user won't care. But when I've got
nice. I've
got the season here. Right, the way it's set up is that each of these is here, and then I need the sponsors to be here, and those need to
that makes sense.
correspond to the season that you're watching.
Yeah, nice.
So this is kind of the general approach that I'm taking, and then when you click into one of these, it goes
I
full
love
screen.
that cool universe.
Yeah, this was a fun one. I spent the most time on this one, I think. Oh, right, this is the one where I took my. I'm still in the process of getting these uploaded, so I think.
Oh, these are more like the These are the
These are my home production.
God, it's so good with like you had the focus
Thank
playing.
you.
That was just really nice, dude.
Thank you. But so my plan is with this is I want to take. I'm going to put it on Mux, and so Learn with Jason is going to actually serve the videos itself via Mux.
Okay.
And that way I can do user accounts, and people who sign up as supporters will be able to get an account and get access to videos a week before I put them on YouTube.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, and
I want that.
and then I've got some additional plans on how I want that to be. You know, like when you come in as a guest on the show, you'll have a guest account or a user account where you'll be able to update, you know, in the future, if you wanted your main link to be like your Pro Next.js course, instead of your personal site or whatever, you can just come in and do that. You don't have to email me and wait for me to get around to updating it. You want to update your avatar, like just do it. All the thumbnails will update because we're pulling from that database. Like, you know, stuff like that, where you kind of get like, I don't know. I've always wished that I could go back and update historical thumbnails for videos, because they've got like
I just wish I could update videos, period.
I mean, updating videos would be great, but like the thumbnails we can control, at least on this part of the site. And then we could even actually have some kind of a webhook that would like fire that off to YouTube and update the related YouTube video too.
As much as you can update.
Well, you can update. Yeah. So I use StreamYard, right? And StreamYard can update thumbnails so that it's possible programmatically.
Oh yeah, thumbnails for sure, but like thumbnails, titles, descriptions, yes. Video, no. That's always no video updates. Yeah, like people put up like text over certain segments, like, oh,
you know,
this is wrong.
You know what would be interesting is I bet Mux does. I bet not like actual video updates, but I bet what you can do is you can insert overlays. Like if you're gonna say, oh, this is now updated, you could say the new, like the next video in the series is here. That link.
Yes.
Stuff like that, so that you can sort of like have videos evolve a little bit. And also if it's hosted on your site, like Netflix does this all the time. They release the original episode and then they notice that they left a Starbucks cup in the background. So they like update the file and then they release a new cut. Yeah. And like, as far as we're aware, that version.
Yeah, we don't get existed. That as YouTubers, where they're like, no, Dixie cup.
If I'm hosting, I own it. Yeah. So the only downside is it's going to split viewership, where people who watch on Learn with Jason, it doesn't count as YouTube views, which will, you know, probably hurt the algorithm, but whatever. I'm going to have to live with it.
Yeah, you're just going to need to talk to sponsors and be like, you have to add these two numbers together.
Well, and also keep in mind that like people who are dedicated enough to come watch it on the site, like they're presumably far more engaged than the casual.
Yeah,
YouTuber.
I think. Okay, from the user's perspective, so I log into the site, I got my account. Can I actually get like what I've seen? Can I like bookmark things and say I want to watch this and have my own playlist and stuff like that? Is that like a thing that I'm gonna get? I think that would be cool.
Eventually, yes. Okay. I think the long view on this is that this theoretically becomes its own little like SaaS that you could white label.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be very cool. I can imagine like a whole bunch of creators looking to do
that. Well, I mean, I think the big goal for me would be that eventually a lot of us who are making video content for the web are just kind of like publishing under a dev TV site that has, kind of like our own version of Patreon or whatever, where we get to control the content. We can add extra benefits like, I don't know, interactive code samples that update as the code goes or something for like specific tutorials and so on. Because there's lots of ways that I've seen people do that, but it's always very bespoke and there's no way to really like use it as a creator. But if it was all under one umbrella, then it would actually be,
or it's more targeted to like courses.
Right. It's
there's
very,
a
very
bunch of learning management systems out there. Yeah.
Yeah. The other downside is missing out from extra monetization.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is different for you, but like my monetization is like a few $100 a month. It just like doesn't.
My monetization is crazy low. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you don't make. I don't think you make
on
money as
YouTube.
as a YouTuber, you don't make money from like YouTube monetization.
Not unless you're doing like the
I think you got to be
million
doing, like,
views
millions
thing.
of views. Yeah.
And then you have to be in the right space. I think we actually get a little bit more per view because we're in the tech space, because like IBM, I don't even know what ads are in front of my stuff. My wife every once in a while is like, oh, I don't know, like random tech stuff. So that's more lucrative. But if you're doing like movie reviews or that sort of stuff, that's pennies on like, yeah. You have to get millions of views to get like 50 bucks.
Yeah. And so I think honestly, like the only reason to be on YouTube is the reach, not the income. Honestly, it like breaks your content because you have to do certain things to make the algorithm, because you have to basically like play the algorithm game of like making people click and watch. You don't get to notify your subscribers. They don't even notify subscribers really anymore. You just sort of have to hope that people see it or that they check.
Oh, they don't?
Not really. So subscribers are like so low in the signal now that they'll notify people who hit the bell, but otherwise it's sort of a random.
Oh, and that's not good.
And so, we've got people like, there are people on this YouTube Discord that I'm at where they've got 500,000 subscribers or whatever, and they'll put out a video and they look and it's like, oh, sent to like subscribers in their funnel analytics, and it's like 35,000.
Oh my God.
It's like, well, okay, well, why have subscribers if you're not going to use them?
Right. That's true. I mean, I'm subscribed to a whole bunch of channels and I rarely get updates.
Right. You just
very rarely.
You look at your homepage and your homepage suggests stuff, and most of it's not stuff you follow. It's stuff that you watch.
Yeah. It's
effectively,
very, very recent. It's like,
like,
oh wow, you watched a video on like anvil creation. Let's go give you 5 more anvil making.
And so basically what they've decided with the YouTube algorithm, as far as I can tell, is that they're driving it almost entirely on behavior.
Yeah.
And not on stated intent. So clicking the subscribe button is stated intent, but your behavior needs to be watching that creator stuff.
Right. Do as I do, not as I do as I do, not as I say I do.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's true. Cool, man. Well, I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
So are you gonna add any AI bits?
Not right out of the gate, but I know that more than likely over time.
Now that you know how to do AI.
Yeah, because my project was actually trying to pull the context out of videos. Jesus, I got something like right here. Trying to get the context out of videos and then allowing that to do a more like content based. You see me like just weeping over here?
Yeah. Oh, poor guy.
More like content based video suggestions. So not just title description, but like what was said in the video, and then pulling out stuff that talks about similar content.
You want to go get some water? I can entertain them.
This is just me. I have my water over here, actually.
There you go. I know what you're going through, man. Dude, hydration. It's all the thing.
Just dying.
It's okay.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. But yeah, so another person who didn't get a notification despite being subbed.
Yeah, I follow this like one channel that does like space updates, that cover like the SLS and Starship and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, he's losing. They basically just randomly unsubscribed a lot of his followers for no reason.
Oh, weird.
And so they begging people to resubscribe, and then also to ring the bell, and because he does all the analytics and everything. So it's this woof. Yeah. And the other thing is like you just kind of bend the content towards YouTube as well. Like
that's the thing I've noticed is like, because what performs so well on YouTube is stuff that you like want to watch it the way that you watch TikTok. You kind of just like line them up and you go one and then the other and then the other and the other. Or you're going there for a very specific purpose. I need to fix this part of my bathroom. I need to build this part of my app. And you search for the thing where somebody does that, and you watch the video while you do the thing.
And that's why I don't understand why like long tutorial videos do well, because what I'm looking for when I look for like, okay, I have a problem with, next auth and, next v and the app writer. Like I literally like type in, next auth and next app writer.
Right.
And I'm looking for like a video that's like 5 minutes and fixes it and they're done and out. I wish I was doing more. Like I try to do those, but I don't like
it is hard. It's really hard.
It's so hard.
My operating theory is that early on, it's helpful to see somebody go start to finish.
Yeah.
And yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. Like, what do you watch? Do you watch longer tutorials, like the 2 to 3 hour ones? And if so, why?
Do the Theo thing. Like hit 1 if you're gonna do like Theo and Brian, like hit 1 if you're doing the short videos, and 2 if you're doing long videos or something.
Okay, yeah, do it. Yeah, one if you don't watch the 2 to 3 hour videos, and 2
if you do.
If you do.
I would be a 1 because I ain't got nobody got time for that.
That's kind
I ain't got
of.
time
I
for
am
that.
also a 1. Let's see. Sean's talking about.
Oh, cool. We have somebody else.
Whisper, Pianote diarization, minor entity extraction, and embeddings not handle the content extraction. Sean, I'm going to be honest. I understood about 10% of the words in that sentence.
Whisper is the
Whisper is the audio.
Audio
one,
to text, right?
Okay.
So
I have no idea what Pianote diarization is. I don't know what minor entity extraction is. And embeddings, that was the vector part.
Right.
So you get an embedding after you do
right.
that.
So what he's talking about when it comes to minor entity extraction is like when we're talking about like chunking up stuff. Like I think that's what they're trying to do is like, yeah, you're trying to extract entities that then you then you do the embeddings, and that gives you like, okay, so this document is associated with this term kind of thing.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I think that this sort of stuff is, I think my major problem with a lot of this is that so much of the language of it is not language I understand.
Yeah.
And so once you and Carter explained vector databases for like the 8th time, then I was like, oh, I get it. It's numbers.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes. It takes 8 times. That's exactly it. I only knew because like the moment that you asked me to be on the show, I was like, I know of vector databases. I've been to conferences where I've talked to vendor database folks, and then I need to know what this is. And so I went on YouTube and literally like, okay, I'm going to be working out on the elliptical, so I'm going to go like get 2 hours worth of videos to like stack up so I can watch while I do it. And one was like a Stanford lecture, and like blah 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 blah, and that was really helpful. But the funny thing was that once I understood what they were, I understood that like I'd actually had prior experience in it anyway, and I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. The embeddings thing, I still don't really fully understand, like why, like what that algorithm is and why it's so cheap. Like it's really cheap to create the embeddings, to create new embeddings on the fly, because you're turning a search query into an embedding and then using that as to query the vector database. But
well, I guess presumably the embedding would be so cheap because that's the easiest way to feed more data into the tool, right? Because their terms of service, they get to train on your data. So if you feed it a shitload of data, they kind of, I would like, I guess if that was my monetization model, is I need to have the most training data, I would be encouraging people to put as much as possible into the embeddings so that I have that data.
Right.
But
I mean, I guess you could think of it kind of like if you are like, you can think of like AI is like, again, a kind of a brain, right? And you've got like, in the case of the embedding, it's like 1,536 neurons, right? And the question is like, given a phrase, how many of these neurons light up and to what extent? And then that gives you your embedding, like your 1,536 point vector.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So your brain lights up, at like, okay, you said dog. So the dog neuron like really went high, kind of thing.
Yeah. That makes sense. And so people are talking about what they're watching. It looks like mostly people are watching shorter stuff, but we've got a couple people coming in. Sean watches the longer
50-50,
ones.
Really. 50, yeah. Maybe even going more towards the long form.
So yeah, Sean's saying like it's Andre Carpathy, right?
I have no idea. I'm dyslexic, man. I don't know anybody's name.
It's
Whoops.
Andre Carpathy
I still don't know how you work this keyboard, man. Nice picture.
Yeah, so Andre's doing, I think, like a lot of like the ML, the hardcore AI stuff, I think is where Andre's at. So Sean's advocating for that. And then let's see, Miguel looks like Miguel's kind of doing both. Bridgewater saying the long videos spread out over multiple days at 2x. I watch just about everything on YouTube at 2x these days.
Oh yeah, me too.
Nikki's watching longer ones, replacing series or movies. Oh, okay.
That's interesting. I just don't like. I mean,
current Twitch username newbie watches long form if they're using the same stack. That was my hunch, was that this was the use case for the longer ones. Is like, oh, I want to be a React dev. Let me watch React devs work.
Yeah.
To just kind of, because to me that's the big, like the one very big loss of going remote is that you lose that ability of like, you and I in the same office and we're working on something and I can just kind of look at what you're working on and say, why did you do it like that?
Yeah.
Like we lose a little bit of that, like, that sort of incidental knowledge. And that's why I think things like streaming are so cool. That's why I like the Learn with Jason format, is that you get to listen to people's thought processes. You get to see somebody think through some stuff. And then you in the chat, you can say, wait, why'd you just do it like that? And then we stop for a minute. We have a 5-minute conversation about why you would do spread or not spread or whatever.
Right.
A lot of the stuff that you make videos about, but I wouldn't know to search for that.
Right. Yeah, right? That's true.
And so that's always the kind of interesting part. That was my hunch on that.
That's true. Yeah. You don't know about like best practices until you know about them, and then you know about them and you don't need a video.
Oh, we got a full description from Sean. So YouTube to Whisper.
Yeah.
Pioneers transcripts with timings and who's speaking.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
For you, that'd be great. For me, it's just me. But
transcript, send a GPT 128K, top level ideas, concepts. Okay, that makes sense.
There you go. Yep.
Take those entities and do embeddings, turn each one into a number. Then you do a numeric comparison. Yep, that part I understand. And then semantically, what other videos have the closest concepts in them? Very cheaply.
Okay, but Sean, I want to go back from the concept back to time codes, though. I not only want to go and hit you into a video, I want to hit you to the right spot in the video.
That
like if you're
that's
doing like
the part that would be
the
magic.
5 hour, the 2 to 5 hour thing, right? I don't, and like auth is part of that. I want to go and have it so that when I type in auth, it's like, oh, you want to go to hour 1 minute 45 to minute 53.
Okay.
Let's see how Sean does that.
It's been a while since you've been on the show, Sean. You want to come teach us how to do
Heck yeah.
that?
Where does he live?
Sean's in San Francisco.
Just a hop is going to jump.
I think you're in San Francisco. I don't remember if you moved or not. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Timestamps for each. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Okay.
That's easy. Yeah, no problem.
This is my favorite. Every time I get into a conversation with Sean, I'm like, wouldn't it be magical if we could do this thing that does like in my head 25 steps? And he's like, there you go. It works. It's like,
yeah, that's nice.
Come on.
That's a good friend.
Come on, Sean.
Yeah, that's a good friend. Yeah. Okay. We should talk with Sean.
Oh, here's the
great deal.
Carpathy shows you how to make a GPT from scratch in like 5 hours. Oh,
that would be interesting.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I gotta say, like, it's not clear to me how LLMs make that. I mean, I get that, like, the idea of an LLM is you're predicting the next word, right? But really, going from that to the kind of responses that you get from GPT, which are very kind of how to do or whatever you want, like much more kind of human. That feels like one of those things where they show you like how to sketch a horse, and it's like a circle and then horse, like bingo horse. And you're like, wait, there's like a big thing
the middle part
in between here that's like actually doing the work.
I'm
sure that like in there are knobs and dials that I could tune that would be like make it much more appropriate to what I want to do.
That always reminds me, this comedian Mitch Hedberg, who he died, almost over 10 years ago at this point. But he had my favorite joke in that vein. She's like, they say that the ingredients to Sprite are lemon and lime, but there's more to it than that. I asked my friends, do you want some more of my homemade Sprite? And they said, not till you figure out what the fuck else is in it.
Exactly.
I think about that one a lot when somebody's like, "Oh, it's just this," and then it's done, and I'm like, "What? Wait, I'm missing some key context here."
Although you and I are big fans of the Bear, right? And
I do love
in the
the
Bear.
Bear.
They had that one episode that I literally couldn't get through, but it was the family episode, and he makes Sprite like on the fly for somebody.
Does he really?
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I mean, you're a chef, right? You know what the deal is, and you can just like he made like soda, just like I'm a little bit of this, a little bit of that soda.
Oh, so this is a video. I got to get this one.
I'm in the bathroom. I'll be right back.
So the problem I have with StreamYard is that it shows me the chat, but it doesn't let me copy the chat. So I have to go over to it is kind of a critical miss. So let me I guess let me pull up the Twitch chat here. Dashboard Twitch, there it is. And then get into the chat here. Now I can copy this link. Build GPT from scratch in code spelled out. So that's 2 hours. Okay, that's dope. And then here is another one. And this is 2.5 hours. All right. So let me share these back so that they show up in my show links. Okay.
I need to pee and run.
You got to go?
10 other videos I have to make in the next 3 days. So
all good. Good. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
It's always fun to get the party crashed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll do it more often.
Dude,
I mean, it's not right around the corner, but it's close enough.
Yeah, close enough for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if I don't see you, have a lot of fun at.
Well, no, we'll see each other at IO, right?
Oh yeah, I'll see you at IO. All right, take care.
All right. Good seeing you guys.
All right, let me. What were we doing? What were we doing? That's a great question. Okay, so let's readjust this a little bit so that it's pointing in the right direction. Okay. All right. Need more collabs like this. I agree. I wish that it wasn't like the best part about this community is that it's so spread out. And the worst part about this community is that there aren't as many opportunities for things like that, where you can just, crash somebody's office. Because I think that's such a special thing when somebody can just swing by and chat for a minute. Okay. So let's hop back into, let's go with this view so that my face isn't cut in half. Great. And then let's pull it back on to this build. And okay, so here's what I'd like to do next. I want to, let's see, need to do a couple things here. So the first one is probably getting the bailout button to show up here. And I think to do that, let's look at the actual code. So up here, we do a big complicated query, basically running a reducer. I'm not convinced this is the most efficient thing. I'm probably going to revisit this later. But we're basically doing a database select from series, and then we join the collections that are part of that series, and then we join the episodes that are part of that collection, and then we order them by the collection, chronologically using the year. So then we have this sort of big looper that gives us our series collection episode, and we kind of build out this big old object that's got our series, it's got our collection, it's got our episodes, right? Okay, so then we push on the default collection, which would be the first entry in the collection. We might need to change that to be the most recent series so that you look at like the current one and not the first one, so that you can see new ones early. And then all that, we use the infer select thing so that we can get the return types, and then we're picking just the pieces that we kept. And that allows me to not have to like duplicate that this is a string, because then if we changed it later, I'd have to change it in multiple places. So this is where TypeScript is both good and bad, because this is pretty gnarly to look at, but it's really nice that I don't have to update a simple type in multiple places to like keep my code up to date. So then we've done all that. Now we can get our series out, and you can see here that they're strongly typed, right? How nice is that? That I just get access to the whole thing and just the pieces that we're using. And so like in this case, we just did the 4 pieces. So we just get the 4 pieces plus the ID, I guess, always comes in. So then up here, we've got the series info. This is an SVG that shows it's the it's this part here, this like LWJ original thing. Because again, I'm doing a little bit of fake it till you make it here, right? The long-term dream is that we would be able to do something where like somebody else would create a series that it would be hosted here for monetization, and it wouldn't be my original, so I wouldn't put that tag on it. We would put their logo on it instead. But either way, in the meantime, this is fine. And so then we have the series title, description, the button, the banner goes in the back. Then we have our collection info. So we start with the select, just using a browser standard select. Then we get the release year, and then we loop over the episodes. And for each episode, we are linking the thumbnail. Then we've got some metadata, so the collection and the episode number. We've got the episode date. We've got the episode length, which is currently hard-coded, so we need to fix that. And then, oops. Whoa there, buddy. Okay. Whoa. And link again to the title, show the description, and that's our show, right? So then we have all the different pieces that need to exist for that to function the way I want it to. I'm not going to stress about those right now. Then we get over here, right? So then when we click through, we get to our video and then the pieces underneath it. So let's look at what those actually are. And that is the episode slug here. And so our episode slug gets database. We're using so we're not using that piece. So we're loading the episode, the collection, and the series again. And this is being done in the get static paths. So this isn't on every page load. This is just at build time to identify the static paths. And then we kind of do the same thing. We're pushing what the series slug, collection slug, and episode slug are, because if you look up here, series slug, collection slug, episode slug, that's the path that we're using. And you can see that up here. We've got the series, and then the series slug, the collection slug, and the episode slug are how we. I'm gonna make that a little bigger. Apparently not. But that's how that works. So then once we've got those, we drop them into the array. We grab out, we've got the series, the collection, and the episode here. And then down here right now, we have a video player component, and we're showing the title. So if we look at our video player, we need the playback. We don't need that playback ID, do we? So go back here, and then we don't even need to send this because it's already in the episode. So we were just duplicating that data. So here's our episode coming out, and we can see that the playback ID is already there. So then we fall back. This one's actually dead now, so that won't work anymore. That was a temporary asset so that something would play. And now we're not going to do that. So eventually we'll fail if there's not a playback ID. In the meantime, just gonna be okay with the occasional broken video. And then I'm using the Mux player. And so I'm using the Mux player, I'm using the classic theme for it. And as you can see right now, it's bog standard. We are basically just setting it to be 100 of the block size and 100 of the inline size so that it's full width. And that gives us this. No styles on the on this except for the global styles, which is just a reset. Um, Full size video player, and it's got some nice features like we have the skip forward and backward. We've got volume control. We've got context for quality. We've got the ability to change the playback speed. We can go picture in picture, and we can go full screen. So that that's how that's where we are now. So the next piece that I need to figure out is what we do from here. And the way that I think I want to solve this is, I guess, so we have our layout here. Did I do like an individual episode layout? I think I started to. So yeah, this was the individual episode. So like this is the video player being full screen. And then we've got the pieces down here. Who's in it, which if it's just me, I'll ignore this section. If I've got a guest, I'll include the guest. I feel like I should include that it's me because there will be times when I'm not in it. Sometimes I produce stuff where I'm like filming other people and I'm not on camera, so I wouldn't be in it. And I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Maybe if it just looks like I'm always putting pictures of myself everywhere, I might take that down. Then we've got next episodes in the season. Could be kind of cool to show the current one as like now playing. So that could be a fun thing to do. And then we've got the episode credits. So like who the sponsors are, who the supporters are. Some of y'all are going to see your names in there, and I want you to know that it means a lot to me. Thank you very much. So let's just build this out, I think. Okay. So we have a lot of the code that we need to make this work in the other player or in the series view. So down here, I want this episode meta. In fact, I might be able to take a lot of this. We'll take the episode meta. We won't need the episode length because that'll be visible on screen. And then we've got the description. And maybe we'll just kind of start with this and then we'll work from there. So we'll episode details. All right. And so this is going to be interesting because I don't have that anymore. Crap. I don't have format, so I'm going to need that. All of these ep dots need to become episode. Format is easy enough to get. I just need to come over here and grab it. Types up top. And then whoa. Okay. So That fixes most of my problems. The problem that it doesn't solve is this one here. How do I get episode? I'm going to have to do some kind of a silly thing. Data reduce array. So we're selecting all from episodes. So that's the baseline piece. We get our accumulator. So we need to sort. How to order by ascending episode publish date. Okay. So what that should give me is the list of episodes in ascending order of publish date. And for whatever reason, this didn't go where it should have. And then when I loop through here, do I get, you get an index in this, don't you? Callback function, previous value, current index, yeah. So we can get the index. And then what we can do with this, I don't like this. This feels fragile, but I think it'll solve my problem. So then we're going to go with episode.number. What's playing music right now? Stop whatever you're doing immediately. Okay. Now I have to remember how to join these. It's like a union. Okay. So is union type what I'm looking for? I think I'm wrong. Fish. No. No, that's not what I'm after. I'm after extending or combining or something. Add field to type. That's not really what I want, is it? No. No. I just want to extend this type. I know how to do this. Extended API response. And is what I was looking for. Okay. So I can do and now you'll stop yelling at me. Okay. Chat GPT, probably a good call. So that solves that problem. And then theoretically speaking, when I click in here, we've got season 1, episode 13. That doesn't quite line up. Why doesn't that line up? Number. they all one off? Does a reducer make it one indexed? Season 1, episode 0. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 5, 10. Interesting. What are you picking up in the middle there? Let's log it and find out. It's console.log. We're going to say slug is going to be episode.slug, and number is going to be index. Then we should see all of these. So am I somehow counting wrong? AstroDB? Crap. This is grabbing all of them and not. Oh shit. So this is numbering every episode across every series, not the ones. That sucks. Okay. So that poses a problem because it doesn't. I don't have any way of currently tracking. I have to track this myself. Why using reduce if I'm not reducing anything? Great question. What am I doing in here? I am taking this big array and I'm reducing it into a. Why am I doing it like this? Like this could just be a map, couldn't it? Does that still work? Yes. Yes. Good call. Good call, Ranzenzam. Yeah, I think my originally I was trying to do something with that was reducing, and then I must have just like refactored it away and not noticed. Cursor is a fork of VS Code. Everything works exactly the same, except you can chat with GPT-4 about the code you're looking at. That's cool. I was playing with SourceGraph's Cody for a while, and that was cool. And then I played with GitHub Copilot for a while, and that was cool. And I just haven't built the habit. I have like so many habits built around not using GPTs that I just haven't. I don't know. I haven't taken the time to like relearn my muscle memory. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do something gross here, and I think the gross thing I'm gonna have to do is, let's create a map. I think we're gonna try this, and so what I'm gonna do is for each episode, we're going to series map set. This isn't really what I want. I think, okay, let me think through what I want here. Because what I want to happen is add the series as a key, then add the episode as a array item, and then the ep number is the length of the array. So that's how I think I'm going to track this. Is I need, so I guess I could have an object that would hold the series, and then each of those would be a set. It is going to end up being a reducer, isn't it? So I think the way that this would work then is episode. I'm just going to call it episode tracker, and we're going to call this an object. Oh, but I don't have any way to. I need each collection or each. Yeah, I need each collection to identify. Oh, you showed up just in time, Vinny. We're at the part where I forget how to code. So I need when I get here, this needs to get added, and that needs to be set as a key. So we're going to have to do something like if episode tracker collection slug. It's going to have to be some kind of like. And then this would be an array of string. So that should let me put whatever I want in here. Good. So if the collection slug exists on the episode tracker, we're going to do an episode tracker collection slug push episode.slug. I kind of want it to be a set though, so that it's easy to so I don't get I don't know that I would get duplicates, but better safe than sorry. All right, you're out of the gate strong, Vinny. Congratulations. Sheesh, what a stuff I put up with on this stream. So yeah, we're going to, why don't we do it this way? If that doesn't exist, we're going to set it as a new set. And if it does exist, then what? Set unknown is missing. How do I do, it's just a set. So I can make this into a set instead. Okay. So then each of these will get an episode tracker, collection, slug, and then we're going to add the episode slug. Okay. So then that means that we'll have the episodes will be tracked against their collection slug, and then we can get a count out of that. Episode tracker collection slug. And do I just get a size? Right, and then I should be able to put this in here. And I think that just works. Let's double check. Okay, no errors. But okay, so that's better. And then we need to, right, so down here. Good. Okay, so that's better, but we need to +1 it to make it the right, because so it's not 0 indexed. And now different collections start their numbering separately, and we get the right numbering, and we have done it. Okay, good. So moving on. Waldorf and Statler. Yeah, I'm sticking with Astro. I found that this works great for me, and so I don't have a lot of incentive to step away from it yet. I reserve the right to change my mind in the future, but so far, I really like the front end flow in Astro, and I've really liked how well they've managed to like integrate Astro DB with the TypeScript, and it just feels like it's all part of it. It feels very like cohesive as a unit. So I have no real incentive to not keep pushing it as far as I can. So then next step here, let's clean up some of these bits. I'm going to take out the time because we're not going to show that. Okay, that's looking better. And then got those pieces there. So then the next things that we're going to need are, I'm going to have to figure out how to do the data for like cast and crew and stuff. And it could be that I just make those into text fields for now, because I feel like I'm so early that I'm going to be kind of making that up as I go for a little bit, and trying to get really strict about how that gets displayed might just get in my way. So maybe that's the right call. But let's get the styling right on this one. How are we doing on time? Like halfway. So we're gonna give this the spacing, make sure that it fits. We'll get the kind of meta styles on there. And then we need to get the sponsors showing, which like the Do It Anyway series didn't have sponsors, but we want to make sure that is supported at least. Then we'll figure out who's in it. So we'll have to actually add some data for that, because I don't think I did that part yet. And then we can pull more episodes, which to pull more episodes, we're probably going to need. Wonder if I need to do. I might skip the more episodes for now, just because that feels like. Oh, I don't know. That feels bad to leave out, though. Maybe the right thing to do would be instead to figure out what the. Because this gives us pages and we get our episodes, so we could. Let me talk through what I'm trying to think of here. So next episode, we already have in this capacity, because we're setting up this this pages array, or this pages object. No, an array. So I could go in and find Oh, no, I would need to pass the next episode in here, which I don't have yet. So instead, I would need to. Oh, this stuff gets complicated fast. Because if there's not a next episode, but there is a next collection, I'm like gaining empathy for the people who build these sites by the second. If there's a next episode, you want to show that next episode, or even have like a playing next episode in 5 seconds thing, which that would be good. But then on top of that, if you are at the end of the series, you need an alternative action. If you're at the end of the collection, but there's a next collection, you would need to get to the next collection. And I don't currently have any way of doing that. I feel like I'm going to end up regretting my data structure here, because it just feels like, well, so maybe I'm not going to worry about that yet. Maybe we get it looking right, and then we'll figure out how to fill in this part. And then for the credits and stuff, I think we probably do plain text. Maybe. I don't know, because I don't know how I would like control this stuff outside of just having some fields that I can do. And like the supporters are going to come from a central place, because that one, I mean, what I'd like for that to be is that every user, or the supporters is like users who have an active subscription. So that just comes from the database. These will come from the database. And then this needs to be whoever else, like that needs to be free form. This is why this is taking me so long, is like I know where I want to go, and then trying to scope it down to like what's viable to ship with that doesn't put me into well, I cut this corner, so now I have to burn the whole thing down in order to add those features I said I would do later. This is the part that's hard, is trying to like design for the growth of this thing, knowing like not like scale like what if I hit 5 billion users, but scale like I know that within the next 6 months I need to add these features. So how do I make sure that what I build today is going to survive those features that need to be added, without requiring a ground up rewrite? Because that's the mistake I usually make, is I'll do one thing that doesn't work with like future plans, and then it becomes such a roadblock that it's kind of like, all right, well, I guess we build the whole thing over again. And while that can be fine, it just, the speed at which I'm doing everything in my life right now doesn't really lend itself well to really thoughtfully sitting down and writing software. Like I have time, but it is a limited amount of time mixed in with a bunch of other things that have to be done very quickly. um, so all that being said, let's do CSS, because CSS makes sense to me. I think I have some of it already written over here, so we can kind of peek at the way this is being done. So we've got the collection itself here, and then we have episodes inside. So I want to see what I did for the collection. I'm going to ignore the header for now. Here's the collection. So this is how we're building out that main chunk. So that, I think, would need to be There's the video players, the episode details. We're going to have extra stuff down below that. So I'm going to say, let's call this one, why not? Right? The old classic, excuse, oh my goodness, what was that noise? The old classic wrapper div. And then for the div, it's this wrapper. And then when we come out here, didn't do, oh, there it is. Then it did a thing. And that looks good. That's kind of probably want to shrink that up a little bit. Need to swap these. This is no longer linked, so we can take the link part out. Let's take this up above the meta content here. Whoa, buddy. No, I screwed that up just now. That's the meta. These are the detail. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that's going to be there. And then let's maybe go with like a 2 rem, 4 rem. So it's a little less snugly in here, or a little more snugly, I should say. And then want to make this a little bit smaller, want to make these more stylized. We can pull that out probably directly from our details page. Honestly, probably want that to be a little, probably want that to be a little different than it is. Hmm. Yeah, we're gonna need some styles specifically to be abstracted because we've got some repetition going here that I don't like. So we'll say episode details, and then inside of here we have the H2 and the paragraph tag, and then we've got the episode meta stuff, episode number. So I probably need some kind of a like a generic details class because all these pieces don't really like these are all kind of shared. Does that match what I designed? Yes. And then that needs a little more breathing room. That looks better. Then these. If the sections are credits are fixed, I can link this in the episode. Otherwise, it's fixed in all episodes and linking to it in the course. Yeah, I think so. The challenge I have is that it varies between things. So, for example, these there's no variance. I did all the pieces, so it's just gonna say something like, created and edited by me. On Learn with Jason, the editor is always Chris Enns. For web devs, the DP is different. The editor is different. The like sound might be different. There's different people involved in each of those. And so those ones I need credits attached per episode. On Do It Anyways, it could be attached per collection. On Learn with Jason, it can definitely be attached per collection, if not per series. Um, so it's just kind of a whole thing. The easiest thing to start is probably just to throw it on the episode, because the most likely thing is that going forward, with the exception of Learn with Jason, everything has the chance for a variable in who the production team is. And I guess like even, like Chris could decide he doesn't want to work on the show anymore, and at which point I would need to be able to switch over to whoever the new editor was. So yeah, probably keep it per episode. There'd be some duplicate data in there. I'm just gonna have to live with that. And the other thing is that maybe I want the credits. Oh, shoot. So I probably want some designation on the user type, because then you could find everything shot by Kenny Hamlet, for example. Oh, geez. Databases are hard, y'all. There's like so many ways to connect data. Like this is why every enterprise app is slow, is because there's 9 million things that they're tracking, and they had to come up with a database, and nobody could have possibly thought of all the things they were tracking when they first designed the database. So everything is just these gnarly joins and messy mess. Okay. Am I really going to? I don't think I want to build that. Get that on a t-shirt. I'm not getting anything on a t-shirt. No way. I'm not going to admit that I wrote a database on a t-shirt. Gnarly joins and messy mess. Okay. So this is feeling like closer and closer. I kind of want. So now I want to clean up on the details, actually. I don't think I want the title link to be underlined and stuff. So we're going to go with color inherit, and we're going to do text decoration none. And we'll say focus is visible. No, we want focus. And we'll say text decoration underline. All right, we also want hover. Maybe we do want focus visible then. So that way, if you start kind of tabbing through these, that all starts to work. I kind of want. I'm not going to get into like the keyboard focus states. I think it's better for now, because I'm going to have to think really hard about making sure I'm not breaking accessibility. Because what I was thinking is that maybe I could have a focus within state, so that this, like when you hover over it, you could click the whole thing, but then you'd want to be able to, selecting that text feels like it's important, but at the same time, it's nice to be able to just have a single link. And I don't want this to not be clickable. I don't want this to not be clickable. So I would need some kind of a pseudo element that makes the whole link clickable across the whole space. But then that starts to break some text selection stuff. Yeah, tracking in both could work for sure. That's a good question. I think I will probably start with episodes directly, and then just brace myself for probably a significant rewrite when I get into the like 6 months of usage and just realizing all the stuff I missed. And that sucks, but I don't really have, just put it into Excel. Oh, sponsored by Excel. Funny. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I like the way this looks. I like that I'm getting that part. Then when I click in, we get our full video player. There's a part of me that wants to customize this, and there's a bigger part of me that really doesn't care. I also am pretty sure that I can upload these at higher quality than I have. I downloaded off YouTube, and I think they gave me the low quality downloads because I didn't want to dig through my hard drives to find the original episodes, which I will do eventually. I just, we're getting there. It's a slow process. The other thing I'm going to do is, I think for like Learn with Jason especially, I am not going to try to download 400 episodes of that show and put them up on Mux. So I'll have a fallback that if there's no playback ID, but there is a YouTube ID, fall back to the YouTube player. And that should be okay, I think. So let's keep trucking on this. Maybe I'm going to hard code the rest of the bits in here so that we can at least see them. And then we'll come back and clean up the rest of that. So after we've got the episode details, we have the people in the episode. And then we have credits. Okay, so the people in the episode. I didn't already code this on this page. That's right. Because I just left that part out. Okay, so that's more that we can do, is kind of dig into this and figure out what the next thing is. Wonder if the upcoming episode should be bigger, because that's like this will be like the schedule. I can think about that, because it would be kind of nice if that was a little more noticeable. So let's start here. We'll do this bit, and then we'll figure out how we're going to do the credits. So that'll be like a column thing. Got to figure out how to see this little magic that I'm doing, where the heading is higher. So I'll have to figure out how to make that work. But let's start here. So people in this episode. So we're going to have this be I guess we could just do it as a link, because nothing in it needs to be selectable, really. And we're going to, for now, we'll say profile to figure out how exactly that works. And inside of it, we're going to have an image. That image is going to have a source, and it's going to have an alt. And underneath it, we're going to have, how do I want to do that? Is that a heading? Is that like, should it be an H4? Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll go over to Unsplash. Get an image. And does this let me do a crop, or do I need to crop it? Well, you know what? I'm just going to I think this just lets me crop. Fit crop. And width is, let's say 200 and height is 200. Screwed that up. There was already a width. It's not perfect, but it's a placeholder, so we're going to live with it. So I can throw that in there, and then we'll just give this person a name. We'll say Sandra. Okay. So then out here, we click in. All right, we've got our people list going. We're going to need a wrapper around the people because we also need to have an H2 that says people in this episode. People in this episode. Yeah. Then we set this up to be 90. Okay. All right. This also needs to be an H1 because you are the title of this page. Which means I need to update this bit down here. And then when we get into the other bits, I'll have to fix that. Okay, so things are moving. Then what happens? Let's add 2 of those. Turn off. I think like the autoplay is probably the right call once you've clicked in and you're going to be clicking a button that says watch this episode. But for right now, I think it's the wrong call. That's better. Okay. So to make this work, why don't we pull this over onto here and we can do the styles a little more like on the fly. Whatever button that was, it was the wrong button. Okay. So we have our people in episode and then people. So people in episode is going to feature an H2, which is going to match this, except it's just going to be like that. That's fine. What are my... Did I set fonts already or did I didn't. I'm just YOLOing this right now. That's fine. And should I do it medium? We'll go with that. And then I need the episode details to have some space around it. So we'll say margin block end. And we'll say 4 rem. It's too many rem. 3 rem. That's a little better. Then we've got our people in the episode. And I need the people to be display flex. And I want the gap on that to be, I'm going to guess like 1 rem is going to look right. And then inside of this, we want, I guess we gave it its own name, so I don't need to do the nesting thing. So we'll say the person is going to be width 90, and then the image is going to be width 100%, height. Oh wait, no. We want to. How do we want to do this? It's block size, auto, inline size. Trying to get better at this because this helps with like right to left and top to bottom languages. So as you design things, they kind of get like if you switch from right to left or into like Japanese where it goes top to bottom, then the margins stay consistent, which is a nice little touch. So trying to retrain my muscle memory on that. And we've got, let's go with border radius is 50%. Okay. Then we need to fix our, I think it's an H4 is what I said. So we're going to say font size is, what size did we go with? If this one is 16, that one is 12. Ooh, teeny tiny. So 16, so 12 is probably going to be, I'm guessing 0.625. Is that going to be legible? Looks pretty legible. Let's see how close I got to 12 with that math. We're going to go with computed. And the computed font size is 11.25. It's a little smaller than I think we should be. 12, yeah, that's better. So that's better. And then I can set font family to Mallory book. Font weight is going to be normal. And then we're going to set the color. That's going to be in the link, in fact. So the color is going to be inherit. The text decoration is going to be none. And finally, if we hover or focus, we can text decoration underline. Actually, no, this is fine. That part didn't work. And it didn't work because why on earth would you be? Oh, right, because it's the, oh, am I doing something bad here? I think I am. I don't love that. Okay, we're going to fix that. So this coming out, I'm just going to do another div, just divs all the way down. Then we're going to take this one, we're going to put it here. And then we're going to take this one and we're going to put it here. There we go. So now you are a little more semantique. You go right there. Now we've got those set up a little bit better. Good. We can set the text decoration, not that, the text align to center. We can set the margin block start to 0.25 rem. No, that's not it. Okay. Say margin block start. Okay. That's looking close. So I think what I actually need is I need this bit to be a little bit wider. Yeah, see, I'm setting each of these to be 120. And then we do have a gap of 6. So we can do that. We'll take the person. The inline size is 120. The image block size is going to be 90. And what I meant by that is that this is going to be 90. The inline size is 90. And then we set the margin inline to auto. That gets centered up again. And then these have a little more room to breathe so that if we get, I think I had Srushtika Neelakantam on my show, and that was the longest name in my list. And that fits at the current size. And I don't think, without making this way too small or making these way too wide, we're probably not going to get that onto one line. And that's okay. But I do need to adjust the line height. We'll say 1.1. That looks okay. Inline size and block size. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a little quick one-off on how these work. So down here, if I do a box, okay, and then I've got my box here, and we'll say the background is going to be red. We want the width to be 100 pixels and the height to be 100 pixels. So there's our box, right? So the way that that sizing works on standard left to right, Western standard left to right, is that we treat the width as being this direction and the height as being this direction. And when you start talking about margin, we say margin top, we say margin left, stuff like that. And the problem with that is that if you switch then to right to left languages, then a whole bunch of stuff will break because all of the things here will move to the other side of the screen. There'll be a here, right? And then things that if it was the margin was here, now you're like popped off the screen instead of being, like pushing off this the way it's supposed to. However you want to talk about that, right? And then the other problem is that on like a Japanese website, the text actually goes top to bottom. And so your whole axis of margins and everything start to break because your site is now pointed down instead of pointed across. So again, if you're looking at like top, left, right, and bottom, the orientation of the website doesn't always respect that. So as you get into like translated sites and stuff, this can really be an issue. So the way that they have decided to fix this is that you now have inline size, which is a replacement for width. And so if I adjust that, you can see that that does that thing. And then you have block size. And block size controls the height. But if we were in a top to bottom, then inline and block would actually invert, but we don't have to care because we're talking about the layout like in the flow of things. So if the orientation of the website, currently we're going left to right. If we started going right to left, that's why you look at things like margin block start and you say, 10 pixels, right? So that's the block start. But then if we look at like margin inline start and we say 10 pixels, you see that it goes this way. But then can I switch? How do I do this? Direction. Yeah. So by default, you're left to right. So then if I come in here and I say, let's go to the HTML, we'll go to the styles so remember, we're like popped out here and I say direction, oops. We're currently left to right. So, okay, now see what happened here. See, now our block start is on the right instead of on the left. Whereas if I had said margin inline start is on the right. Whereas if I had said margin left, we move over here and this is all, and it's wrong, where it's wrong in the context of what we're trying to do. So that's why this stuff is useful. And why I'm trying to get the muscle memory to work. So that's the thingy. And I think there's also what are the other options in here? Maybe it's just left to right and right to left. I had thought maybe it's like a language thing. I don't know. But if you go to so for example, if we go to Google. Is that the right one? Maybe like Amazon. Okay, what is a site that actually has writing on it? Maybe like the terms and conditions. Oh, come on. One of these is probably terms and conditions, right? It's not. None of these are helping me. Okay, I'm trying to make a point and I don't know how to make my point. So I'm just gonna stick with what I do understand, which is the left to right and right to left. The writing direction impacts what start and are. And that's so basically like block now is in Western left to right, it's top to bottom. Inline is left to right. And if you use the start in left to right mode, start is the left. In right to left mode, it's the right. So basically you get a little more flexibility in your styles without having to write special style sheets for like, if, in right to left mode, do all these different things. You can just say this and a lot of your styles will just translate properly and you won't have to think about it. Yeah, Arabic is right to left. There are a handful that are right to left that basically you should assume that if somebody has like Google Translate on and they auto translate pages, it'll flip your site, even if you don't actually, actually, I think we can do that. Can I just, oops. Oh, I feel like there's a button that lets me do this. I can't remember how it works, but I've seen it before where like when you go to a page, it actually, did it do it just now when I was at like google.co.jp? Did it say like translate this page? No. I can't remember. There's like some, like I know Chrome will do it sometimes and so on and so forth where it'll start doing that. Writing mode, vertical left to right. Okay. I actually have no idea what this is going to do, so let's try it. And we will say, what was it? Writing mode, vertical, and then text orientation was upright. What did that do to our page? Okay, that's actually really interesting. So this gets a little wacky. And no shade on the Mux player because I have no idea how to handle that sort of stuff. But this is kind of interesting how this sort of see, this is cool. So all of these things that we did, they still kind of work. Like this isn't ideal, but if you had translated this site and you moved it into, vertical and right to left, you still have like your headlines work, the general flow kind of works, and the margins and stuff are all there mostly. I missed some part of this that is probably set with width, but that's really cool. So I enjoy this stuff. It's kind of fun to dig into these and see how they all work. But so that's a thing to be aware of, is that like somebody might come in and click that button that says like translate this into Arabic or translate this into Korean, and you don't know those things. You didn't translate your site, but Google will translate it for you. And when somebody does that, if it throws it into their orientation, you want your site to still be legible. And like, I'm not going to argue that what we were just looking at was legible, but it's more legible than if all the margins were suddenly backward compared to the way that they were intended as written. So that's sort of a way to do that. Well, the easiest way to visualize things would be to use like a page translator. Oh, here we go again. So if you use like the Google, so this, will this do a whole page? No, I don't think that's the one. There's some that'll like translate the whole page. Oh, that's the text on the page. I don't know. Maybe it's a Chrome feature. I'm not sure. But there's, well, let's try it. So let's go to Amazon. And then, yeah, you get this and it says translate. And it's automatically translated this into English for me, right? And now I didn't make any choices about that. It just did it. And then what would be Amazon? Do you know what the actual site is for this? Amazon.com. Oh, see, now they think I'm doing something weird, which I kind of am. And if I get all the way down here and I go to I don't want to change my language settings. I want to change my country. That should be right. So this is right to left. Okay. If I translate, see how it's all right to left. I actually don't know if this would do. Now that I'm trying this, I'm not 100% sure under which circumstances this would happen. So I'm going to, yeah, I'm gonna leave it. Oh crap. I'm gonna leave it there because that's about as much as I'm starting to get into like guessing territory. But I know that the block size stuff is helpful because it just sort of like future proofs you against those sorts of translations. And if there is something that would do a translation that would change the writing orientation or something, then you don't have to worry that your styles need to be rewritten to support a different writing direction. So now we've got these are in here, and let's add another. Honestly, we should probably, instead of having like we should probably just have like a section, because these don't all need to be specific things. These need to be more like this is a section. It's not. In fact, why don't we make it a section and then we can call it, and we don't need to call it anything. Maybe we just leave it as a section, because that way we can take advantage of the fact that Astro scopes to its own files. And instead of having to do something like this, we get to do something like this. Right? That continues to work. And then when I add another H2 in here, and this one's going to be more episodes in this series. Right? And then we've got episode credits. Okay. And then the part that I messed up on is I did where's the margin that I did? I don't want a margin block end, I don't think. In fact, I would prefer a margin block start. And now each of these kind of has its own little vibe. The icon appears at the end of the search bar when the browser's language mismatches the page language. That makes sense. Yeah, writing language can be vertical, which swaps inline and block. Yes. Welcome back, Jack. Yeah, doing some CSS. You know me. I love my CSS. I'm doing CSS because I got so overwhelmed by databases that I'm just back on CSS now. Do I have to provide code in my HTML? No, that's the magic, is that by switching to block and inline, you don't have to change your HTML. So the HTML looks like this, but the because it's semantic, then the browser will just kind of do its own thing here. And because I'm specifying directional as opposed to explicit CSS, then the block and inline is saying to the browser, relevant to the direction of the writing and the page right now, block and inline mean one thing in this instance. So in left to right Western, block is top to bottom, and inline is left to right. In right to left, like Arabic, block is still top to bottom, but inline is right to left. In something like Chinese, where the writing language is top to bottom, then inline would be top to bottom and block would be right to left, I believe. Right. So we don't know what the different writing modes are going to do, but we can say that if we're trying to get things to flow, then we can specify it like this. And when the writing direction changes, then we know that it's going to flow roughly the same way that we wanted it to. It might not look the way we want it to, as we saw when I flipped the writing direction to vertical, but it was in the right order, and it nothing was like really janky. They were just they were smashed in ways that I probably wouldn't smash them if they were my like if I was designing it intentionally, I wouldn't have designed it like that, but it was at least in the right place. Okay, so now that we've got our kind of section set up here, we're able to specify each of these. So I can collapse down this part. And so if we have anything that goes kind of generically across all of these, we will approach that here. But in the meantime, we're going to be able to do an episode listing. And I think the way that I did that was, yeah, with more episodes. And then this is just going to be the actual. So we need to pull that episode out into a component so that we can reuse that over and over again. Hell yeah, Mike, we should. That would be fun. There are no mistakes, just happy little vibes. That is absolutely correct. Jen Simmons on layout land. Let's see. Let's see. I'm not sure exactly which talk. I'm just going to link to the channel because I'm not exactly sure which one we're talking about here. But if you've got an actual video you want to show, let me know. But otherwise, we'll just do a shout out to Layout Land because this is already pretty cool. It's also wild to me. So here's something that I think is it's very cool and also very like kind of mind-boggling to me is that the perceptions around CSS are that like all this stuff is new, but these videos are like 5, 6 years old. Things like grid and things like these like inline and block and stuff like that. This is all stuff that I really kind of it still feels very new to me, but it's been around for a long time, and in computer terms, it's been around forever. It's just kind of wild to me. So, anyways, this looks like a cool channel to catch up on some of those things. I know that like Una Kravitz has a ton of cool things on CSS. If you look at, I'll just link to Una's site, and you can choose your social media of whichever one you prefer. The Code Pen might have some good things. I know that Adam Argyle that's not the right one. Here it is. This is the right one. So this is Adam Argyle's site. It is jam-packed with good CSS stuff, tons of like new features and how to use them. I think this one in particular, actually, Kevin Powell just did this video. I'll drop a link to this one as well. So let's just give everybody a little props here. This is Una's site. This is Adam's site. And here's the video from Kevin Powell that Adam was on. That was kind of a speed run of like cool CSS features. This one's worth watching for sure because it's really short and covers a ton of like what it is and how it works, which is always kind of a nice way to get familiar with something. How much further are we going to get here? Let's see. So let's see if we can componentize Example of YouTube doing YouTube. Sub to Kevin, didn't see it. It's hard, man. I don't know what the right choice. I mean, the best possible way to actually keep up on things, unfortunately, is like a newsletter. Is you got to sign up to somebody's newsletter or their RSS feed, somewhere where they're actually publishing everything. I think this is something that that Adam does really well, is like all of his stuff just shows up here, and it's different things. It's like wherever he is, he's sharing things, and then you can kind of keep up with all of it in one big feed. Really clever, a really good way to do it. That's actually what I'm going to do for the next iteration of Learn with Jason, is or not Learn with Jason, of jason.energy, my personal site. It's going to be kind of an everything feed that's got RSS and like filterable RSS. So here's what I want to do next. I want to see if by the end of the stream, which is 30 minutes away, we can get the episode component moved into a component so we can reuse it across both places. And then maybe we take a crack at hard coding the credits, but my guess is we won't have time for that. So I'm going to use the restroom. Give me 5 minutes. Be right back. All right. No more interruptions. Anyways, waiting for my CSS newsletter. I know. RSS really does need to be introduced to something cool. I feel like that is a very, very good thing to do. Okay. All right, speed run. Here we go. So we're going to take the component, I'm going to split these back into 2 pages again, because I think I'm going to need more real estate for what I'm about to do here. So here's what I want to do. Back on this page, we've got this. This is our episode display. It is currently shown like this. It's just embedded in here. It's got all this stuff. You know, there's a lot going on. So here's what I want to do. I want to take this and I want to create a component. We're going to call this episode preview.astro. Okay. And then down here, we're going to get a lot of this. I feel like I don't necessarily want to have to pass everything in here. I kind of want to be able to like specify some of these things. So let's look at our props that we want. And props is going to include the episode, which is going to be type of episode infer select. And then I want to include the episode URL, which is going to be a string. And that's what I want this to become. And then let's see, we've got the episode thumbnail, the episode title, this collection slug, and this piece here I don't love. So those I might, maybe we'll just like hard code that in because we're figuring it out different ways. We can format in here. That'll be fine. And then that's the link again. And then episode title, episode description. Okay, so that should be okay if we do it like that. And then we can set up from astro.props. We will get the episode. We'll get the episode URL and we'll get the episode number. And so this down here and that one down there will become the episode URL. All of the ep dots become episode. And finally, this collection slug and the index is going to become episode number. And I need to pull in format from date functions. Okay, so that should be a valid component. And then I need to pull across the styles for it. So way down here, let's see, we called it episode. So in the styles, I should have a dot episode. Here it is. And I should, I think, be able to copy all of this out. Might need the meta and the number. I will. The length. Yeah, let's just grab all of this. That's coming out. And it's coming into here. And is it called episode still? We'll just call it episode still. That's fine. And then down here, I'm going to import video preview from components episode preview. Okay, so then to make that happy, do an episode preview, and that's going to get the episode itself, which is going to be ep. Then it's going to get the episode number, which is going to be that there. And then we need the episode URL, which is going to be this one here. Okay, so then that, all of these drop out. And if I didn't screw anything up, this continues to function. And to test that that's doing what I think it's doing, I'm going to add a little. There we go. All right, so that's our component. It's doing the thing. So then what I should be able to do is in here at the bottom, I will be able to get more episodes. And so we can come into here. This little meta bit we're going to reuse also. So maybe I should drag that out as a separate thing so that it's reusable. I'll think about that next. So in here we have our episode preview. And we'll be able to use that episode preview in a just do more episodes, and we can do episode preview. And for each of these, we need the episode, which in this case, I guess I'll drop in this episode, and then we're going to do episode number, episode URL, and we get those. For now, we're going to have to fix this, but for now, We're going to get those from here. Whoa. Here. And the episode URL. I don't actually have that, do I? Like I'm passing all of this in, so I guess I can. It's kind of silly to do it this way, but we can do it. Good. Then if I add more, and we'll just duplicate these. Go 5 across. Okay, so then we need to style that up. And to do that, we're going to set more episodes is going to be down here. It's going to be display flex. Set up a gap of probably 1 rem should do it. Okay. And the nice thing about this is we kind of built this site on a grid, right? So we have 5. What's our gap in here, in fact? Because we'll just mimic that. 2 rem. So then we click in here, we come down, and it just looks the same as it does on the top. In our more episodes, we want a margin block start of, let's give it 3 rem again. Oh, that's way too many. We want 1 rem. Does that roughly match what we designed? That's pretty close. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then I did this little play button thing, but I wonder if I need that. Like this feels pretty intuitive as is. I think that's okay. The only thing that is maybe a little off here is I think the title is too big. Which would mean I need to do I really want to like target this down? Because that feels bad. What if I add a class to it? Because then class would just be a string. And I'd be able to apply that class like so. And how do those work again? Let me check with Astro. Astro class list. And you can just throw things in an array, which is great. It's like not exactly necessary in this case, but we're going to go with, we've got episode, and then we're also going to throw in the class. I need to alias it because it's a weird name. Yes. And this is why React does class name. But then we'll be able to pass a class in. And if I give it a class of, let's say, do it like that. So then what we'll see here is we have our, it's big now. I'm going to come into my episode slug page and, oh, we need to make that optional. I guess it'll just be undefined, which won't matter. And so, okay, so that shouldn't be mad at us anymore. So I can come in here and we can say class, and we're going to set it to compact because that was the name we picked. Change that in all of these. Let's leave it off the last one so that we can see that it's working. And it is not working. And let's see if I did something I didn't need to do here. So we've got our episode compact, and then we've got our H2. Oh, I know what I did. There it is. So now these are small, and this is the one that we didn't update. So that one doesn't show the different size. So if we head back over here, make this last one compact. Now they're all compact and good. We're happy. All right. So then the challenge then with this is that I need to just add some to-dos here. So I need to figure out how to list more episodes, and that's going to be some kind of, we'll just have to kind of dig in here. We've got the collections. We're already grabbing the episodes and putting them into our episode tracker. So maybe this is a set of episodes instead of being a string, because we can put whatever we want in there. And then we would be able to get that list. Yeah, we can figure it out. We're not going to figure it out today. I might figure that out later this week if I get some time to code. And then, I mean, this is getting a lot closer though. Like this is starting to feel real. It's not perfect, but if I can get it to the point where I have the guests in here, then I can start doing, well, let's see. What needs to be true before I start doing data entry? Because I don't want to do data entry more than once, because that's going to be really tedious. I'm just going to have to like put on a movie and copy paste things for a long time. Or maybe I can, I don't know, maybe I can do something. I don't know. I'll have to think about that a lot. Yeah, you're right that I need to flip this layout. The challenge that I have is that I'm using StreamYard, and I'm finding the limits of StreamYard because I can't get my video like off screen, and you can't choose the crop, like where to crop. So what I end up with is I'm either off center. Like, let me show you what it looks like if I move to the other side. So this is the, like, if I try to move it to the other side, because I really like this layout. Like, this is good, but I'm a little off center, and I'm a little off center on purpose. But then when I try to go to a cropped view, StreamYard won't let me off center the crop. And so I have to be centered. And so what I've been able to figure out is that if I put my video under the desktop, then all of this video over here, I can actually show you if I hide my banners. Look down low, you can see how much of my video here down underneath the video, like look down here, you see that sliver of video that's visible. That's how much of my video is overlapped by the thing to center me up. So basically I'm kind of like realizing that I'm realizing the limitations of StreamYard, and I'm starting to think that I need to go back to OBS, because I was thinking this was nice, and then I've just found all these things that I want to do that I just can't do with the StreamYard setup. So I don't know, pain in my butt. Okay. Wanted to know whether Ant Design is a good go-to to build a design system. Unfortunately, Mohammed, that's such an it depends question that I can't give you any answers at all. The trick is when you get into like each project, you're going to have different requirements, and then each team has different baseline knowledge. So all of the factors of like, what do the people on your team already know how to use? What are the goals of the project? What, like, given what you know about the requirements, do both Ant Design and Tailwind Design meet all of the requirements of that project, or is one or both of them going to require you to build custom things? If they're going to require custom things, how do those APIs fit into your existing knowledge base? There's just so many things that you have to kind of factor in. So yeah, I wish I could give you a strong like yes or no on something, but it's so dependent on the team and the people you're working with and the project you're building. Mirror flip, that's a great question. Let's see. So I'm right clicking on this. It gives me no controls whatsoever. Dynamic camera grid, camera slot. Yeah, it doesn't give you anything. It's basically like you can move it, you can resize it, but it always does a object fit cover. And that's it. So definitely finding the edges of StreamYard as I've been using it more and more. Like, for real though, this is like I went to StreamYard because StreamYard takes a lot of the decision making out of going live. Like it does the multi-streaming, it does the local recording for guests, and I don't have to figure out how to get my computer to run, you know, the streaming, the recording, the multi-stream, all that stuff. However, I did find that stuff like Mux will multi-stream and Cloudflare will multi-stream. And so an experiment that I want to try is doing a single stream out of here to Cloudflare or Mux and restreaming that out to all of the destinations and seeing what the quality looks like. Because the other thing that kind of bums me out about StreamYard is that it says it's 1080p, but it doesn't feel 1080p. Like, I don't know what quality y'all are seeing right now, but like it just feels a little, it doesn't feel as good as I thought it would. So anyways, yeah, it's like right now, I think the trade-offs have been worth it because I've been streaming consistently. I haven't been having to fight with my setup and like with all the other things that I'm doing in my business. Managing my streaming setup is like the last thing I should be spending time on, which is why I'm here and why I haven't changed away yet. But as this continues to evolve, I miss all of the custom things that I used to have in OBS, and I do want to bring them back. I just need to make sure that I've got enough time to actually do it. And there's a lot of experimentation I need to do to make sure that, like, in this setup with the current Wi-Fi, or not the Wi-Fi, I'm plugged into Ethernet, but like with the internet connection I have, what can it handle it? Can this particular computer handle it? Or do I need to go back to like a 2-computer setup? Million questions that I need to answer, and we'll eventually get to those. But with that, y'all, we're out of time. So why don't I do this? I'm gonna shut this down, and I'm gonna commit it in case anybody wants to play with this code. So we've made a million changes. This is like 2 months worth of me fiddling for 20 minutes every once in a while, and then a couple big working sessions like today. So it's a lot. I'm just going to commit it as like one big, let me make sure there's nothing I shouldn't be committing in here. tsconfig. I don't think I have any. Yeah, nothing that can't be shared. So I'm going to git commit, and we'll just say work in progress. Netflix style layout. We'll push. Okay. So now if anybody wants to, you can find this code over on GitHub. The link is already in the chat. And throw that up on the screen for a second. All right. So few little announcements and such. As always, if you are enjoying the stream, if you want to help me out, the easiest and free thing to do is to hit the like button on this video. If you're on YouTube, if you are not on YouTube, do the subscribe thing. Do like share it. If you're on Twitter or LinkedIn, like do the like it, retweet it, repost it on LinkedIn. And if you want to help a little bit more, there are options where you can subscribe for a few bucks a month. The Learn with Jason Discord is probably the easiest one. So it's lwj.dev/Discord, and you are able to join that Discord, or you can join the YouTube channel as well. I think in both cases, if you're not on iOS, it's like $4 or $5, and I put all of that money directly toward running the show, trying to get more and more things that aren't completely dictated by what the sponsors want me to work with, which is a fun constraint, and I love working with sponsors, but I'd love to do more stuff like, how do I make an episode that's entirely about new CSS features that I can bring in the experts, like actually bring them to Portland, and we can build some cool stuff with it. That would need to be, as far as I can tell, that needs to be completely supported, paid for. Because it's not going to be like, no companies make money off of new CSS features, so they're not going to sponsor it, right? So that's the goal of the sponsor. That's why I talk about it. That's why I'm asking for it. We have great stuff coming up, both on and offline. So online, we've got this challenge is happening right now. It's a giveaway. My next episode of 4 Web Devs 1 App is coming up. You can, if you build this prompt, let me share the link here. If you build the app in the prompt by May 20th and submit it to the form that's at the bottom of this here, if you submit it to this form, you'll get entered to win this desk setup here. I'm also going to try, if people get them in on time, I'm going to try to feature folks in the episode itself, share some of the apps and things like that. It's a good way to build your portfolio, good way to learn some new tech. You're going to get into vector databases here if you've never used them before. They are really useful, even if you're not doing AI stuff. And honestly, at this point, it's looking like AI is here to stay. And so starting to understand how it works is going to be beneficial. So give that a shot. Give that a shot. I said May 10th, didn't I? What's in the official rules? Official rules, May 20th. My bad, y'all. Or wait, no. When is it due? Currently scheduled to, the episode is scheduled to release between the May 13th and 20th by May 10th. Oh my God. Oh my God. y'all, there's only 3 days left. You got to do this now. So the goal though is to do this. I got confused. The goal is to do this in 4 hours. So theoretically speaking, you you know, a couple hours a day, and you're going to have even more time than the devs in the show had. So yeah, get that going, get it done. It's going to be great. I really want to see it. I'm very excited about it. So make that happen. Also, we have a lot of fun stuff coming up this week. On Thursday, Matteo Colina is going to come talk about Node.js, specifically what's new in Node.js. And if you haven't been looking, there are huge updates in Node. Things like stuff. I feel like the meme has been that Node has too many dependencies and that you need way too much boilerplate to just get a project running. And these days, that's not true anymore. You've got things like a watch mode. You've got things like hot reloading and all this stuff that just works. ESM just works. Really, really cool stuff. So come watch this one, especially if you've been a little skittish around Node.js. Check out what's new because it might be better than you think. Then we're going to take a week off on the week of the 16th. I've got Rob, who's been working on a kind of Next doesn't provide an adapter layer for deployment. So any company that wants to deploy Vercel or deploy Next.js that's not Vercel has to kind of roll their own adapter layer. And that's what Rob Stanford has been doing over at Netlify. So if you're curious about how open source or how open source authors that want to work with Next.js, not on Vercel, are like reverse engineering Next.js to figure out how to deploy it somewhere that's not Vercel, this is going to be a really interesting episode, talking a little bit about how that stuff works under the hood and how other frameworks are doing it, and what you can do to run Next.js anywhere. We're going to learn about analog.js. I'm really excited about this one. Brandon has been able to build single file components in Angular, which is a stark departure from the way that Angular has historically written components. Very excited about that. Very excited to learn how all that works. As usual, you can go to the Discord, you can get on the newsletter, you can do all these things to make sure that you figure out where things are going. Yes, great. It's going to be fun. Offline, Galaxy is coming up, and if you are not signed up for this, you can attend online if you want. It would be great if you are going to be in the Bay Area or if you have an excuse to go to the Bay Area. Hit it up. This is going to be a lot of fun, and you can use my discount code of lwj.GAL50. I'll put this up on screen as well. Head over and use this discount code LWJGAL50. You get 50% off of your ticket, so you can come down and learn what's new. The day 2 agenda is all developer focus. People like Kelsey Hightower speaking, and there's a lot of people that I want to learn from. Brian Rinaldi is going to be there. Who else? We've got Aaron is a lot of fun. Where was Kelsey? I don't know. Kelsey was in here somewhere, but a lot of people that I like are going to be speaking. If you're not using feature flags, it's a great way to do it. And I'm also working on. I'm calling it top secret. It's not really top secret, but I'm going to be there with a camera crew doing something fun. And if you have a chance, if you're in this Bay Area, come out to this event, and maybe you'll show up in the next thing that I make. Also coming up is Cascadia.js. Oh my God, the summer is going to be very busy. But Cascadia is going to be just super dope. So if you're in the Seattle area in the Pacific Northwest region, if you want to ride the train with me and Henri Helvetica from Portland up to Seattle, sign up for this event. It's going to be dope. And I have a discount for that as well. Just use my name. There is the sign up for your ticket. I think it's 30%, 35% off, something like that, if you use my discount code. So make sure you do that, get signed up. This one's going to be a blast. I'm also going to be hosting Config at Figma with Cassidy Williams. So she and I are running the developer track at Config, and that is on June 26th and 27th. also happens to be my birthday. So we're going to be having a little like double bash there for my birthday. And like, if you haven't been paying attention to config on the developer front, they're also doing some really interesting stuff. It's been really fun seeing the way that they're trying to connect to developer audiences and all those good things. I am a June 26th, so almost birthday buddies. And I'm 39 this year, so we're almost birthday twins, real close. Double boop at config indeed. All right, y'all. I am officially over time, so I'm going to call this one done. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you on Thursday. Later, y'all.